Where are the pickled flower buds? Pickled flower buds? That's right. Did you know that capers are actually flower buds picked long before they flower, dried in the sun, and then pickled in a brine? It's going to be the perfect addition to my savory salmon Caesar salad. I'm Chef Michael Williams, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Today is a twist on what might be the most popular salad in the world, the Caesar salad. In our version, we're using salmon, Portofino multigrain croutons, roasted cauliflower, kale, and a fried caper Caesar dressing. Hail Caesar, let's get right to it. We're gonna start off by making a quick spice rub. This is one of my favorite things to do, and it's the easiest way to up your game in the kitchen. Making your own spice rubs, you don't even need measuring spoons. We're gonna start off with nice, good quality salt here. I've got some Himalayan pink, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bust out approximately equal proportions of each of these. Turmeric is next up. Now that I've got my turmeric in there, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some garlic powder. And I'm just eyeballing this. If I was using something like cayenne pepper, I'd want to be really careful with that because it is so potent and spicy. But all of these are very harmonious and they just kind of blend together. The smoked paprika, one of my favorite spices in the world. And finally, a little bit of toasted and ground coriander seed. So about equal of each of those. We're going to use that to flavor our cauliflower. So I'm going to grab an oven tray here because we're going to roast some cauliflower off. That's the first step to our salad. We want to get that cauliflower in the oven roasting away. And I'm just going to bust this in half. And right here, if I just cut right along this edge here, I can break open all of those florets. I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to use those another day in another salad. Cauliflower, hey, use it all. Jamie Oliver taught me that the leaves are delicious as well. So we'll set these aside for another day. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and just finish busting up the cauliflower. The bigger pieces need to be broken down a touch more. First step done. So let's go ahead and get this onto our tray. And I'm going to sprinkle some grapeseed oil onto the cauliflower as my first step. Help the cauliflower roast a little bit and prevent it from sticking to the tray. Now let's go ahead and grab that spice rub. Wow, you should smell that. Even just that alone, boom. So that's almost ready for the oven. I'm just gonna go ahead and get that bottom side coated too. Nice easy trick right there. And this is ready to head into the oven for probably about 15-20 minutes at 450 degrees. Let's go ahead and get started on our dressing now. This is not a typical Caesar dressing. We're actually gonna fry up some capers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some oil into the pot. So I'm gonna add in some grapeseed oil to fry these as well. So we want a skim of oil on the bottom. And as you can see, my capers here, check them out. They're on a paper towel. This is really important because what's gonna happen is we're gonna fry these capers, and capers come, as you know, pickled. They're actually a bud of a flower. Did you know that? Hand-picked bud of a flower, which are then, cured or pickled in a brine. And so that's the brine that it comes in. We want to get as much of that off as possible because that brine is going to create a huge splatter effect as we toss these into the hot oil. And we don't want that. So the drier, the better. And once that oil starts heating up, which happens really quickly with these beautiful induction cooktops, then we're ready to dump those in. So in goes our capers. Do exercise caution anytime you're frying. It can be dangerous. So that's pretty hot. I'm just going to dial that temperature down just a touch. It won't take long to fry these up, and it just adds an incredible flavor. So keep your eye on the color. Be mindful of the splatters. There will inherently be a few, no matter how well you get them dried off, because there's moisture inside of them as well, right? So the other components of our dressing here, we're getting right into it. And you know what? I'm feeling like those capers are actually already ready to go here. So I'm gonna grab them and remove them from our hot oil. You can see I've got another paper towel ready here to absorb any excess. Oh yeah, you can see that those flowers have caramelized beautifully. And you know what? Let's go ahead. and save this oil. We'll let that cool down, and hey, we're gonna use that to go into our salad dressing shortly. In the meantime, we'll let that cool down. Let's start building our dressing here. So we need some egg yolks. First step, we only want the yolk for the dressing, and that's what's gonna help create our emulsification. So we'll save those egg yolks, or egg whites, I should say, for another day. That'll be for the scramble tomorrow. Keep them in the fridge in an airtight container and absolutely make use of those. So we got our yolks. Now we need a good dash of Dijon mustard. Probably a couple tablespoons will do the trick. Next up is garlic. You cannot have a Caesar dressing without garlic. So I'm gonna go ahead and just crack off maybe 4 cloves of garlic here. And all we need to do is peel them because our food processor is gonna do the chopping for us, which is fantastic. So those can just get tossed right in. 2 more and we're laughing. And the next ingredient is typically lemon juice. And you know, most would argue that you can't have a Caesar dressing without lemon juice. I forgot the lemons, so I'm gonna use apple cider vinegar instead. And you know what? The health benefits that come along with raw apple cider vinegar with the mother are fantastic. So we're getting a bit of an upgrade in the health department here. Probably about 1 tablespoon of that. So we've got our garlic, our egg yolks, our Dijon mustard, and the apple cider vinegar. Let's season this up a little bit. So a little bit of salt, lots of fresh ground pepper. I love pepper in my Caesar dressings. And how about some smoked paprika? We got it, so let's do it. Our capers have cooled down enough now, so let's go ahead and get those in the blender as well. And we're ready to emulsify, folks. So that's gonna happen on a low speed on our blender here. So I'm gonna get the lid on, but in the meantime, I'm gonna get my oil ready. As I mentioned, you know what? This is probably still too hot. I wanted to make use of this, but I'm gonna save it and make sure I do use it another day. Instead, we'll just go ahead and grab the grapeseed oil and the extra virgin olive oil here. We're gonna use a combination of oils so it's not too strong in flavor. If you go all extra virgin olive oil, it becomes really potent in that olive oil flavor. And so I wanna mellow it out with that nice, mild flavor of the grapeseed. So setting this on low. As I get some oil in here, things will start picking up in the blender. So once it starts going, I want to make sure I start adding my oil really slowly. Otherwise, that emulsification doesn't actually happen. So that's probably good for our olive oil. And let's go ahead and add the rest with our grapeseed oil. And just taking a peek in here, I'm looking at the consistency. I'm waiting for it to start thickening. Hey, that's it. I just made my own Caesar dressing. So that's ready. One more component I want to get going here is our kale. So let's get ourselves a big mixing bowl, which we're actually going to mix our salad in. Nice, beautiful head of kale here, which has already been washed. And in fact, it's still a little bit wet, which is fine. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bust the kale along the seam here. And I want to make sure I remove the stem because that's absolutely a little bit too tough and dense to be munching on in our salad. Which brings me to a point. Kale is also pretty dense and fibrous, right? It's not your typical, you know, green leaf or even romaine, which is a little bit firmer, but still nothing compared to how fibrous kale is. So, and some people find that a little unpleasant. I'm going to show you a trick on how to really tenderize your kale. And here it is, folks. It's so simple. All we're going to do is add some salt into the mix, and then we're going to start massaging. And the fibers of the salt coupled with the massaging of my fingers are going to really break down the denseness and the fibrousness of this kale, softening it up. And you'll see what'll happen is it'll start to get dark green, and that means that we're doing our job. Once that kale starts getting a nice dark green, making sure that, you know, if there's any big chunks in there, you break them up as well. Our salad is well underway. We're gonna be back a little later in the show to pull it all together. But before that, we're road tripping. See you after the break.
Cookin' on the Road is brought to you by Cold Star Solutions, an integral part of Vancouver Island's grocery supply chain for 20 years.
We're here with Nels Dugstad of Arbutus Farms Foods in the beautiful Cowichan Valley.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for making up. We're really proud of what we do here. We love the local feeling of being able to make great products for all the local independent retailers on Vancouver Island. And now
you guys are using real food in your products too. So like when I walk into the deli at Country Grocer, I see a whole lineup of beautiful salads and concoctions, and you guys are creating all of that stuff here.
Yeah, well, we bought the business a year and a half ago from Deborah and Don McMurray, and they've been embedded in this community for over 20 years. And
wow, okay.
You know, like that yam and potato salad probably has been made for over 20 years.
I've had that one lots. I love it. Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's real ingredients. As you saw down there today, you know, we're using real yams, but like, you know, it's just real ingredients.
So as we were walking through our tour there, I saw some fantastic machines that are, you know, really bringing up your production capabilities.
Yeah, well, demand has been great for our salads. We really are trying to be innovative, world-class, and chef-driven. All of our recipes are internationally inspired. And the demand now is nationwide. We are selling across Canada now, which is incredible. And we're super proud of that. But what we've had to do is get some automation to take some of the workload off of the really hard labor that's been really hard on a lot of our staff, bending over tables and just hand mixing products. It's super difficult. And that's the one thing. We brought in a mixer that kind of just does that, and just taking more time to put the right ingredients into the salads and take the care and attention that's needed, and less time just hand mixing. And that's the only reason we've done it.
So I've had this one lots. I'm seeing this dill pickle pasta salad and my mouth is watering. You think I could have a taste?
Yeah, for sure. This is a brand new salad that we've just come up with this year. We actually have done a potato salad with this also, but it's dill pickles, chopped up with carrots. Just a super light, classic, tangy dressing. There's not a whole bunch of stuff in there except dill and lots of actual dill water and juice and stuff. So
that's awesome. I love it.
Love that. Radiatore pasta. You saw them cooking the pasta down there today.
Yeah.
So,
this is delicious. And we've got the beautiful use of quinoa, one of my favorite grains in the world.
Yeah, this one here is a fire roasted corn with, we've got some bulgur in there, some quinoa, and it's just a super light dressing. I think one of the things we're really trying to get away from is a lot of creamy dressings.
Right.
So this one here is really become like a staple of our new salad mix.
This looks fantastic. Like
all fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
Some black beans, mixed quinoa. Great flavor.
You know what? That's delicious.
Yeah. You could add kale to that, or you could add spinach, or
totally.
You could add chicken.
I love that you're bringing in your chef mind into the mix and creating some new fantastic recipes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we have some chefs downstairs, so we're for sure a chef-minded place. We make real food. That's what we do.
Nels, thank you so much.
No
Fantastic.
Thanks.
This is great. I'm going to finish this off. Back into our kitchen, we're pulling together our savory salmon Caesar salad. You saw me massaging the kale just as we left the kitchen. I've already made the fantastic fried caper Caesar dressing. I'm about to get some croutons rolling, and you can do these either in the stovetop or in the oven. Let's go ahead and get them going in the stovetop. So I'm first going to get a little bit of butter melting in the pan, and then I'm going to also add a little bit of grapeseed oil to that as well, which will help prevent the butter from burning. Once that butter melts down a little bit, we're good to go ahead and add some bread. I've just got sliced bread here, which I've turned into cubes. Now you can make croutons out of stale, you know, couple day old bread. That's the best way because you're making use out of something that is no longer kind of serving its purpose. But if you want to do it from fresh as well, it's fantastic. Season them up with a little bit of salt and pepper, and they are going to be so delicious. Let's go ahead and get our salmon into the grill pan as well. The first step I want to do is get a nice drizzle of oil on the salmon so it's not going to stick to our grill pan. So I'm going to be fairly liberal with the oil there. And then we're going to season it very well with a little bit of salt and pepper as well. Okay, so that is ready to hit the pan. It's going to sizzle and it's going to be great. You absolutely want to make sure that you preheat your pan so that it does sizzle as soon as it hits. I think that if we were to go take a peek in the oven, our roasted cauliflower would be looking fantastic. So I'm going to head over there right now. Oh yeah. Look at this. How good does that look? And I'm going to transfer the cauliflower into this bowl here. So let's give our croutons a stir. We want to pay attention to those guys. You want to just lightly toast these on the outside. It's okay if they're a little bit soft in the middle. That is fantastic as well. Get them nicely toasted. Our salmon's doing its thing. Let's go ahead and start bringing our salad together though. I'm going to grab a couple plates and we're going to get ready to start plating here. So our cauliflower, let it cool off just a touch more, and I'll go ahead and pour that into our bowl of massaged kale. Oh my goodness, how good does this look? Here's our fried caper Caesar dressing. I'm gonna be not too shy about this, and we can go ahead and get that mixed up. I think our salmon's ready for a turn. It smells so good, so good. That's gonna need a bit more dressing, but let's go ahead and take a turn here. I'm gonna just take a peek and then probably give it a 45. Yeah. Okay, we'll give it a 45, and by giving it that 45-degree turn, we'll end up with those nice hatch marks, right? Yeah, baby. So let's get a little bit more dressing on our salad here. We'll head back and give our croutons a stir as the colors are coming into these. Now I'm gonna be serving these croutons fresh, so it's okay if they're not toasted all the way through. If I was to be toasting them in the oven, then I would be able to use them kind of, you know, for the next several days and into even weeks. But by doing them fresh like this in the pan, there's a little bit of moisture left in the middle. They're not gonna be great the next day. So you wanna make sure that they're dried out really well. Otherwise they kind of just go stale. Let's go ahead and pile this up. Give our salmon a flip. Look at that. Probably 2 more minutes on this salmon here and we'll be ready to get that onto the plate. We've got our salad nicely plated here. I think it needs a couple more of these cauliflowers. Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't that look great? I'm gonna grate some Parmesan cheese on top right now. We switched things up with the lemon juice and took that out, went with the apple cider vinegar. We're not gonna omit the Parmesan cheese. The Parmigiano Reggiano, we need to have that. There we go. This is looking fantastic. All right, salmon, I think is almost there. Just before I get to the salmon though, I'm gonna place some croutons. Now let's go ahead with our salmon. Oh, there you have it, folks. This is mouth-watering. That's what's happening to me. Savory salmon Caesar with fried caper Caesar dressing.
Pairings are brought to you by Liquor Plus. Discover the plus.
What makes any salad that much better is the right beverage pairing. With me now is Bailey from Blue Grouse.
Nice to see you, Michael.
Nice to
Thanks for
see you
having
as
me
well.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for coming down. I gave you a little bit of a heads up on what dish I was going to make for you today. You know, not your typical Caesar salad. We've got some kale, some spice roasted cauliflower, and fried caper Caesar dressing. I see you've got the quill here. What are we cracking open to pair this up?
We have the Quill Pinot Noir, Michael, and I chose this because it's a bit of a lighter style red.
Okay.
Goes really nice with the salmon. Generally, you don't mix red wine and salmon,
Yeah.
but salmon has got a lot more fat and a little more robust.
Yep.
and the lighter style red really pairs nicely with it.
Okay.
Also, because the salad is the meal,
Yes.
it works out really well with the kale and the capers.
Cool. I'm curious because, yeah, like you said, red's not super common with, you know, fish. So,
Yeah.
all right. Oh, that's nice.
I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, that's good.
I think the salmon looks fantastic. It, you know, salads that eat like a meal.
Let's dig into this meal and see how it is.
Fantastic.
Let's see how you you managed to nail this pairing. Isn't that cauliflower beautiful? Mm-hmm. Lots of great flavors happening there.
The salmon is wonderful.
I didn't even get into the salmon yet. My turn.
There you go.
So, tell us a little bit more about Blue Grouse. Where are you
Well,
guys located?
Just up in the Cowichan Valley, the beautiful sunny Cowichan Valley, and you know, we're getting ready to start harvesting grapes any moment now, which is always the exciting time of the year for us. You know, this is when all the hard work pays off, and we get to bring the grapes in and start processing them and begin the process again of making wine. So it's always a lot of fun.
Imagine it's the crunch time. You got to get it done as quick as possible, right? Because you know it's the small window.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's often a few long days.
I
But
bet.
that's okay.
Well, I'm loving this pairing. You know, anything else you want to share with us about Blue Grouse Winery?
Well, you know, we're open to the public, and we're willing to have everybody come up and visit us in the Cowichan Valley, very close at hand.
I think it's time for a tasting.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
right up and visit us and visit everybody else.
Bailey, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. I'm loving this Pinot Noir.
My pleasure, Michael. Thank you.
Check out our website where you'll find the lowdown and the recipe on today's show. I'm Michael Williams, and don't forget, dinner's better when we eat together.